Hi, this is Pat Ray from Pat's. We're going to talk about early intervention today. And so this is Substance Abuse Early Intervention Group. This is Friday's group. I need for you to write on a piece of paper your first and last name. I should say print that so I can get it. Please do this. A lot of folks aren't, and I'm having difficulty when they send them to me. So put today's date on there. And the topic today is risk education, all about how alcohol and other drugs impair us and give us, take away our judgment so we do not make good choices. So, want to talk about the first most important thing that some of you who took risk education will remember. A lot of people believe that if they've had too much to drink or they've used too much of something, that they can jump in and take a cold shower and wake up and sober up, or they can drink a whole bunch of coffee, eat a big meal, sleep it off, that kind of thing. The bottom line is there's only one thing that sobers you up, guys, only one. And I know that some of you already know it, and that is time. So if I drink until about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have a blood alcohol content of 0.20, which means 20% of my blood is alcohol, and I go to bed around 1 o'clock, I am not going to have all that alcohol out of my system completely till around 4 or 5 o'clock the next day. That's right. I can get a DUI on my way to work at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So remember that, guys. Just because you had a shower, ate some breakfast, and slept does not mean you are sober. Okay, so what is the first part of the driving task that is affected, or what are the parts of the driving task, or for that matter, making good decisions, carrying out your work day productively, making choices for your children, that kind of thing. Which part, what is it that alcohol and other drugs affects? Well, it affects everything, especially our judgment, our reflexes, our vision. Um, we don't process things well, which means this information comes into our brain through our senses, all of our senses, sight, taste, hearing, touch, all of those, taste. We bring in information, it goes to our brain processes it, makes sense out of it, and sends out messages as to what we should think or do in that moment. When we are impaired, when we have substances on board in the brain, we don't process well. So when somebody says something, we might take it the wrong way. Somebody bumps into us, we might take that the wrong way. So I'm going to pause right here. I am so sorry for that interruption. I'm a jack of all trades this morning. So, when we talk about moderate use of alcohol, that means that for women, it is 2 to 3 standard drinks 2 to 3 times a week, or for men, it is 3 to 4 standard drinks 2 to 3 times a week. Now, the question is, what is a standard drink? Standard drink is a 12-ounce beer, is a 5-ounce glass of wine, is a 12-ounce wine cooler, is a 1.5 fluid ounce shot of liquor. So I don't think I left anything out there. We do not know if we are getting a freely poured drink or beer or wine or shot. We don't know if we are actually getting a standard amount. So don't be fooled. Be careful and pay attention to what you are drinking. Even if you're pouring it yourself, remember the first thing that goes is the judgment. So we may not be paying attention to what we're actually pouring. So one of the things that we know is that alcohol is a depressant drug. So no matter who you are, man, woman, or beast, if you drink alcohol, it is going to slow everything down because it's a depressant. It depresses the brain, slows down the reflexes, the thinking, the processing, everything. What do we know about other drugs? Well, it depends on the drugs. As you know, cocaine, meth, those kinds of drugs are stimulants, so they arouse a person. What happens then is they get you all geared up as if you are in the fight or flight mode, and then you kind of crash down, don't you? So, okay. Makes a person also have a difficult time because the the chemicals in the brain that make you feel good become depleted after using. So then you feel depressed and you may make bad choices and see things in a way that are not really true. Okay. All right. So, what is the next thing? Oh, the synergistic effect. So let's say that you've been taking a depressant medication and you know that that depressant medication has an effect on you. It takes care of whatever it is. You feel better. Okay, it's fine. And you know that you've had a drink or used a drug, and you know what that effect is. So now, when you put those things together, you have a great big boom. You have a big effect. And that's where people get into trouble. They don't realize it. They forgot they took their antidepressant or they weren't thinking about it. They go out, they have some drinks, and they get knocked for a loop. That's because there is a multiplied effect when you add drugs together. So check it out and be careful. Okay. What happens when people use substances depends upon the individual. No two people are going to react exactly the same. No two people are going to be affected by the same drug in the same way. Everyone is individual. Now, the reason I'm going over this is these are things that we want you to take away. These are tools to help you to make better decisions. So in early intervention, we talk about high risk substance use. High risk means using substances in a way that causes us trouble or puts us at risk of hurting others and ourselves. So some of the things I just talked about are important to know. So on your paper, I want you to list all the things that I talked about that may put you at risk. Moderate use, if you use more than the moderate amount, that would put you at risk. We call that binge drinking. Yeah, binge drinking. So think about that. What happens when you drink or use? Your judgment is gone. Decision making is not the best. So making good choices means that we have to think ahead. Plan, if you're going out, if you're going to have a drink or two, you're going to have, going to smoke some weed, whatever it is, have a plan. Your life and the lives of others may depend on that. So I want you to think about that seriously. You may not have thought about it seriously before, but every day, somewhere, somebody is injured, hurt, or dies in an alcohol drug related incident of some kind. So pay close attention. Early intervention means you have indulged in substance and the behavior has been risky in some way, putting you and others at risk. So think ahead, make a plan. We're not saying you're an alcoholic. We're not saying you're an addict. We don't say that you have to be abstinent for the rest of your life. If you are not an alcoholic and you are not an addict, you don't have to remain abstinent, but you do need to plan ahead for your safety and the safety of others. And the best plan is to only use in moderation and never, ever drive after you've had even one. Okay? All right. I hope that you will have a beautiful weekend, and I hope everybody's well, and I really hope that we get back to doing face-to-face groups again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.